Come on, Lily, that was my kill. You gotta move a little faster, Walker. On my way!
Rage 2 is a game that starts spectacularly, then slows to a dull crawl for around an hour. During that first hour, you'll be searching for fun, high and low. That is not to say the game opens poorly, on the contrary. The game starts off with a thunderous sense of chaotic fun. However, after you're given access to your first vehicle, the game comes slightly off the rails. You're given 3 objectives to track down, leading to the game's first 3 missions. If you proceed directly to these, you're missing out on important early upgrades in the game's first of many arcs. Arcs are treasure troves guarded by numerous enemies that house important character upgrades, like new abilities or weapons. Confusion is the issue you'll face during the game's opening hours. While you're aware of your mission objectives, the game does not highlight the importance of seeking out arcs for upgrades right away. While this is not required, you will feel gimped without them. On top of this, the sentry towers you're meant to destroy will often mollywop the unsuspecting player. I understand the wasteland is dangerous, but placing so many major threats right near the starting areas feels like sloppy design. While it may sound like Rage 2 is a bust, you'll be surprised at how addictively fun the action is. From the outset, combat is the shining star of the game. Weapons feel and sound fantastic, not to mention the extreme satisfaction found in the visceral brutality of the game's frantic action. This is a fun shooter without a doubt. It nails the important bits, like how good it feels to nail a sucker in the head. Yeah, Rage 2 is a very gory and violent game. One so extreme and bombastic that it feels like a game you would see in a movie. It's so over the top, I kept thinking, this can't be real. For those who love these kind of gory games, this is a treat. For those who don't get it, well, it can be mildly horrifying and also troubling to see those enjoying such a vicious treat.
The Authority mutants are no longer a threat. You're good to go.
Driving in the wasteland is not just transportation, it is devastation. You can splatter enemies at high speeds, mow them down with Gatling guns, or take the faster approach of a speedy bike with your trusty pistol. Driving at high speeds only to swing your death machine around and make mincemeats of mutants never gets old. Expect to see tons of meat bags explode, sending gushy bits into the air. What makes the combat satisfying outside of its brutal violence is the fluid and smooth nature of the controls. Lining up headshots and decapitating marauders with a bladed boomerang feels incredibly natural and highly rewarding. Weapon variety is not massive, but each one is practical and alluring. The game's story is of a similar mold. It functions to aid in reasons to go here and kill that. But it also has a ton of personality, making the story feel uniquely captivating. I was impressed and surprised by the allegoric nature of the game's writing, making it feel more like mature satirical science fiction. Yes, it is silly and over the top, but the game takes itself seriously enough for the story to have added weight. This is a game that gets laughs out of popping heads like pimples, but if you pay attention to the game's intriguing dialogue, you will observe more creative passion than one would expect in this kind of game.
Impressive. You think you can catch a bullet, too?
While the opening hours can feel rather lifeless, the pulsating blood of the action will keep you pressing on until the world finally comes alive. Once you discover the upgrades and get past the immersion-breaking tutorials, the game's breakneck brilliance finally shines through. The world is small and even seemed a bit empty at first, but I was taken aback by the amount of content just waiting to be discovered. Beyond the story missions, there is a ton of side content that you'll want to play just for the chance to shoot more gut bags. First-person shooters that take place in open worlds can be pretty hit and miss. The original Rage felt promising, but ultimately had the feeling of unmet potential. Rage 2 met and exceeded that potential in most areas. I accept that it can take a process to learn a new game and discover the deeper fun. What I cannot accept is a HUD that vanishes at the least opportune moment, and the game crashing just as it starts. While the game is yet to crash again, it did freeze up on me, requiring a restart. When I see those issues and the aimless feeling of the opening hours, it becomes clear that the game is lacking polish due to being rushed. Graphical glitches like the missing faces of Assassin's Creed Unity are forgivable, as they do not impede gameplay, but losing your HUD in the heat of battle, that is an issue. Then there was the questionable choice to make a game with a ton of dark areas and no flashlight. The game looks stunning, but if it is night or you're underground, then you won't be able to see how beautiful it looks. It is great to have the extreme realism of pitch black darkness, until it keeps you from noticing the mutant who made lunch of your entrails 5 minutes ago. Okay, it's not as bad as I'm making it sound, but the lack of a flashlight is still the game's most glaring red flag. While visual bugs can be a sign of a rushed game, missing a vital tool like a flashlight is the giant red flag that this game needed more time. These issues are not deal breakers, they are troublesome, but ultimately, they are tolerable. Still, I am dismayed that the first shooter to rival the new Doom and Wolfenstein lacks the level of polish those games had. I'm sure the game's glitches will be fixed shortly, but I'm not so sure about the lack of a flashlight. Still, even in its current form, I can't put the game down. I love the fast-paced run-and-gun action. I love the charming cast of characters and surprisingly well-written story. This is a great game, one that is held slightly back by its clearly rushed release. But it is a great game, all the same.
You got the skill for the kill, I grant you. These goons are thoroughly dead. Not what I expected from your boxed-in little compound. You're different.
You ready to talk now?
Yeah, let's talk.